a lot of boxers don't do this. This is why Canelo's not fighting Benavidez. Why would Canelo fight Benavidez, who's relatively unknown, and Benavidez beats him, and Benavidez becomes overnight a superstar? That's Canelo's letting Benavidez make a name off of him.
So you're saying that you're going to make?
If it was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo, a hell of a fighter, but my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez. You know, that's just my personal opinion, and I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's just what it is.
David Benavidez is not refraining from disclosing information following Canelo Alvarez's defeat to Terence Crawford as the undefeated super middleweight champion, is increasing the intensity, asserting that Canelo is too apprehensive to confront him.
Canelo-Benavidez. Why? Canelo, why? I do not understand it. You're demanding $200 million? Like, come on, dude. Basically, Canelo doesn't want to give us the good fights. Imagine if Canelo and Benavidez gets made. That's the Super Bowl of boxing. Boxing is on the rise. Canelo, don't screw it up for us. I thought I would never say this, but Canelo's scared. Literally, I thought I would, as a fighter, I know fighters are not scared. But wow, we've been begging Canelo, please, Canelo, please.
Why can you not give us Canelo-Benavidez? Why Canelo? Why? I do not understand that you are demanding $200 million. Like, come on, dude. Basically, Canelo does not want to give us the good fights. And imagine if Canelo and Benavidez gets made. That is the Super Bowl of boxing, as boxing is on the rise. So Canelo, do not screw it up for us. And I thought I would never say this, but Canelo is scared, literally. I thought I would as a fighter. I know fighters are not scared, but wow, we have been begging Canelo. Please, Canelo, please.
By unanimous decision, we got that. You know, I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looks for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is there for Canelo. And I just think that Crawford was too fast for him, you know, especially in the southpaw position. We all know Canelo have problems with the southpaw. So, you know, and that's why I picked Crawford. I just thought.
Saul Canelo Alvarez had declined to engage in a battle with David Benavidez as he was dissatisfied with his methods and was solely interested in the millions of dollars that would be awarded to him. And veteran trainer Ronnie Shields brazenly declared that Terence Crawford would emerge victorious prior to the confrontation between Canelo and Crawford, and he continues to maintain this assertion, as after the fight Shields stated that he had always known that Crawford's agility and ability to transition from an orthodox to a southpaw stance would be too challenging for Canelo to handle, and he substantiated this assertion by elaborating on how Bud's capacity to alter postures, attack or retreat and manage the distance exposed Canelo's minor defensive deficiencies, and Bud presented opportunities to initiate action.
Canelo, so we can't use the excuse that he's older, right? We can't use the excuse that, oh, well, you know, he moved around too much. Well, it's your job to figure him out, right? Just like Chavez would figure out a fighter, just like I would figure out a fighter, just like any real great fighter can figure styles out. That's your job. I think Crawford did a tremendous job. Kudos to him. Sky's the limit for Crawford. And
Ronnie Shields, a former professional boxing coach, commended Terence Crawford for his ability to execute a nearly flawless game plan, remain composed, time his attacks, and punish each error that Canelo made. And Shields stated that it was an exceptional display of tactical execution and ring intelligence, as he had anticipated prior to the fight. And Shields even suggested that Canelo should consider retirement after the match, as the number of high-level fights had obviously taken a toll on him. But in contrast, Oscar de la Hoya offered an alternative viewpoint, as he reiterated that the decision was entirely in Canelo's hands and Canelo should retire if he believes he has reached his limit. However, he must exercise caution when selecting his opponents, as de la Hoya stated that he truly believed Crawford was extraordinary, and he discovered that Bud was exceptionally gifted in identifying styles and counterpunching. And he found the experience to be truly overpowering, a return to his leisurely mindset. And de la Hoya subsequently stated that it served as a reminder of the reasons why Crawford is considered one of the most adaptable and intelligent combatants in the sport of boxing.
would be incredible. So there's a good possibility that Crawford will stay at 168. Most likely go down to 160. I don't think he's going to touch 154. I think he'll stay at 160 eventually. and try to find the biggest fights possible. And the biggest fight for him would be a Virgil.
Kudos to him. Sky is the limit for Crawford, and I really do not know where Canelo goes. And Oscar de la Hoya, a former professional boxer and promoter of Mexican descent, did not cease his commentary on Canelo's subsequent actions following the historic victory, as he also examined Terence Crawford's path. And Crawford's conviction is evident in de la Hoya's remarks, and it is this confidence that will propel him to greater challenges. And de la Hoya observed that Crawford appears to be completely at ease and content at super middleweight, and there is no genuine reason for him to return to 154 pounds. Nevertheless, he may be inclined to reconsider his decision to return to 160 pounds in the event of a highly anticipated contest, as Oscar believes that the most intriguing fight currently available is to confront the developing Virgil Ortiz, a fight that he believes will provide an entertaining action-packed experience and intrigue that is commensurate with Crawford's current status.
And what probably anyone else is probably thinking, honestly. I didn't expect Crawford to be that big.
Oh yeah.
I didn't expect Crawford to be that big, but Canelo did good the first few rounds, first like all the way up like to round 4, and then that's when Crawford took over, So I mean, the second half of the fight though, it was all Crawford. There was no question.
Crawford is apprehensive about engaging in a battle with David Benavidez and shares Canelo's perspective, as the Mexican boxer was defeated by the American boxer. And Terence Crawford is apprehensive about engaging in a fight with David Benavidez, and shares the same mindset as Saul Canelo Alvarez. And the American boxer achieved his success by defeating his Mexican opponent Canelo Alvarez and removing his titles. And David Benavidez submits his demands to Canelo Alvarez in order to organize Mexico's ultimate boxing match following his loss to Terence Crawford. And a former world champion has advised Canelo Alvarez to retire. And Terence Crawford is apprehensive about engaging in a battle with David Benavidez and shares the same mindset as Saul Canelo Alvarez. And the American boxer achieved his success by defeating his Mexican opponent Canelo Alvarez and removing his titles, as a variety of prominent Instagram accounts noted. And Terence Crawford said Benavidez is a substantial individual, but nevertheless I am not denying that I will engage in a physical altercation with him. And Canelo's lack of size was the sole reason I encountered him, as Benavidez is approximately 1.80 meters tall, and additionally his weight will range from 88 to 90 kilograms. And Dan Rafael, a boxing journalist, also shared Rolando Romero's perspective, observing that the initial rounds of the fight between Canelo and Crawford were characterized by a vicious and thrilling back-and-forth exchange. But as Rafael noted, Crawford had not only meticulously prepared for the fight, but he also executed the plan with complete precision and easily outperformed the larger, more experienced Canelo. And Rafael was impressed by Crawford's methodical mindset and long game, describing both as superb. And he also reminded the viewers of the numerous doubts that were faced prior to the bout, citing Canelo's size, power, and title fighting experience as advantages that were deemed insurmountable.
I had Canelo ahead in the early going, but I thought Crawford did an amazing job closing that fight down in the last few rounds, where he really started to back the supposed bigger guy up, although for me, they looked about the same size. But that was a brilliant performance, and what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him and said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that.
Terence Bud Crawford's performance in the September 13th main event against Canelo Alvarez was endorsed by Rolando Romero, who asserted that it requires a unique quality to deliver a defeat to Canelo, and Bud achieved this. And he observed that the initial rounds were intensely contested, with Canelo advancing and maintaining a close fight. And Romero observed that Crawford was gradually assuming complete control of the fight, dictating the tempo, landing the clearer shots, and winning round after round as the fight progressed. And Romero asserted that Bud's capacity to adapt on the move in order to defeat an elite opponent is a testament to the fact that he is now being considered one of the greatest boxers of all time, as he described it as an amazingly accomplished mission which is almost unimaginable.
Fight one, the winner of Eubank, and then 2, the Hamza Shiraz. I mean, those types of names. He's got mandatories. Mobility got the draw tonight in a great fight. There's other fighters that have belts and interim belts and blah, blah, blah. So, nobody's going to rush Terence Crawford into his next fight. He'll take his time, and, whatever the next fight is, it's going to be a big one because, his name is even greater now than what happened going into this fight for him. So he beats Canelo Alvarez, it becomes a much...
But he showed that Dan Rafael subsequently elaborated that while a Canelo-Bud rematch will undoubtedly generate significant interest, it was not the most advantageous or prudent course of action for either fighter at this time. And he recommended that both men explore alternative high-stakes opportunities that were more appropriate for their respective professions at the time. And Rafael recommended that Canelo thoroughly evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of the fight and determine who to fight next, if anyone at all. And in regards to Bud, Rafael stated that this historic victory has elevated Crawford's status to the extent that every single top contender will be calling him out. But nevertheless, Rafael persisted that Crawford must meticulously evaluate each potential option in light of the division in which they may compete.
I was hurt, I ain't gonna lie, because I've been a fan of Canelo since I was a kid, so my heart, a tear almost came on my eye, I ain't gonna lie, because it felt like, that Canelo's done. But I just think he was a little off that night. I think he can, make a big comeback. But to Crawford, man, he's the greatest of this era. You gotta give it to him, greatest of this era. Nobody's ever done that before, 3-time undisputed. So you gotta take your hats off to Crawford. And I was just shocked that he was able to just dismantle Canelo like that, even with the size difference.
Even with the size difference, that just goes to show size, and Canelo Alvarez's record serves as a blueprint for a contemporary boxing legend career that is predicated on competing against the best international pay-per-view stardom and 4 division world championships. And he has exhibited the capacity to adapt to nearly every technique in front of him as well as devastating counterpunching. And from his teenage rise in Mexico to signature victories over consensus legends such as Miguel Cotto and Sergey Kovalev, he has become a global celebrity and one of the most marketable fighters in the sport. And as a result of his exceptional consistency in the elite divisions in 2012, Shane Mosley and the next champion shared the squared circle with a youthful Canelo, as he described the experience as being in the presence of a combatant who was more experienced than he was. And Mosley underscored Canelo's natural strength, precise timing and patience, as at that time he could already discern the attributes of a future pound-for-pound champion in Mosley. And Canelo's trajectory from phenomenon to one of boxing's most illustrious champions has been characterized by the serenity of a veteran, which was evident even at that time.
Young kid, I think he was 21, 22 years old. He had a lot of experience, I should say. He had a lot of boxing experience at his age.
40, 50 fights?
Huh?
He had 40 or 50 fights at that point, right?
40, 50 fights, but not just that. I'm talking about experience as far as knowledge about being the real, experience. Like veteran experience. Like he knew how to counter, he knew how to block and counter, do all different things. So it wasn't like he was just an ordinary fighter. And I was like, and fighting him, I'm like, wow. He actually knows how to get away from stuff. He knows how to counter. He knows how to trick shots up and say,
Lois Schofield, who had been unwavering in his belief that Canelo Alvarez would emerge victorious on September 13th following the fight, expressed his shock at Terence Crawford's complete dominance. And Schofield asserted that he anticipated witnessing a Canelo performance that would be considered classic, but instead witnessed the Mexican fighter fall entirely short. And Schofield expressed his uncertainty regarding Canelo's imminent retirement for the first time, and in analyzing the fight with Crawford, he emphasized that Crawford surpassed Canelo in all aspects, including pace timing and unquestionably ring control, and Crawford established a substantial lead and proved to be a dominant victory. And he did express his desire for Canelo to continue his career and to regroup in order to make a successful comeback, allowing the boxing world to once again recognize him as the champion he once was. Furthermore, Canelo's durability and championship character were on full display in the evenly matched bouts against Gennady Golovkin, which were 2 of his most significant accomplishments. And in addition, he achieved the distinction of being the first undisputed super middleweight champion by defeating Caleb Plant and unifying all 4 main belts. And in addition to obtaining titles, Canelo has consistently engaged in perilous challenges across various weight classes and has never shied away from high-stakes situations, as his career is the quintessence of excellence and endurance as he continues to engage in combat, and it combines the fighting spirit that embodies the pride of boxing in Mexico with exceptional technical abilities, and these achievements have distinguished him as one of the most exceptional combatants of his generation. And the fact that Crawford returned the belts to Canelo after his victory demonstrates the level of reverence he has garnered in the sport of boxing.
Can't explain how good I feel. I said I was going to get in here, I was going to win the belt again. Like I said, it was a hard fight. My Darrell was trying to catch me all night. He was trying to counter me when I would step in. But we were willing to take the chances, and he didn't catch me at all. It was a hard fight, but my dreams come true. Second time fighting on pay-per-view. All my people out there came out to support. So man, it's an amazing feeling. I just can't wait to get back.
David Benavidez has garnered a reputation as a formidable opponent among super middleweights, and his triumph over Anthony Dirrell in 2019 was a pivotal moment in his career. And following his 9th-round knockout of the more experienced champion to reclaim the WBC title, Benavidez spoke with the composed assurance of a fighter who recognized his rightful place at the world's highest level. And after effectively regaining the belt at the age of 22, he described the fight as a dream come true and emphasized the significance of the belt to him. And Benavidez commended Dirrell's unrelenting pressure and sharp combination punching for wearing him down, tightening the grasp and momentum of the fight with each round. And he cited the victory as evidence of his discipline and development, evidence that his youth and power in conjunction with his focus and discipline rendered him the man to defeat at 168 pounds. Alright everyone, stay tuned for the latest in boxing news, highlights, events and stories. Subscribe to Glove Lord and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Be sure to watch our other videos too. Until next time, take care and stay safe.